Alrighty, well, welcome to our podcast. I'm Matt Merck, and this is
I am Jack Keller.
um, I'm a student athlete here at New College of Florida. This is my third year of college, second year at New College of Florida. I'm a transfer from a JUCO, and yeah.
And I'm a freshman here at New College, in my first year in college. And I play baseball as well with Matt Merck here. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about our faith in Jesus Christ and as student athletes and people in college, just like adversity that we go through and keeping that walk and living how we're supposed to as Christians.
Absolutely, yeah. So, as we mentioned, I've been here in the college baseball realm for a little bit of time now. Jack is a freshman. He's new. It's his first year of college, so he's kind of still getting the grasp of things. And just tell me how your experience has been with that, being new, and things, maybe some adversity you've dealt with, and things that have been good and bad.
Yeah, definitely. When I first got here, it was a little bit of a culture shock. Just people obviously being away from home for the first time, doing whatever they're going to do. And I did find that it was easier than a lot of people said, though, just because when you really try to just stay and find your group of people and people that are kind of like-minded with you, it definitely becomes a lot easier. Your environment is kind of who you hang out with. So I was able to find some really good people and some good friends, and even being a freshman, it's made it pretty easy here.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I remember my first time being in Florida. I was on the other coast of Florida in Melbourne. Yeah, I mean, obviously being in Florida all the way back from Chicago, it's, obviously I appreciate it a lot. There was a little bit of homesickness, so I remember going back for Thanksgiving for the first time going home. I was like, let's go. It's the first time being back in a while, even though it was 3 months. But, you eventually grow out of it, and, I've really cemented myself here in Sarasota, and I absolutely love this place. It's where I want to grow and thrive for the rest of my life. And, yeah, I'm just very thankful that the Lord let me here. He gave me this opportunity, and everything happens for a reason, because, the past few years before that had been a lot of adversity just through with baseball, a little bit of life too. And, but now that I'm here, I'm on my own, and couldn't ask for anything better, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely it was a blessing that I got to stay in Florida because I'm from here. I'm from Orlando. So being a little bit closer to home definitely makes things a little bit easier. But how is it, being so far away from home? Were you that far away from home right out of college when you went to JUCO, or was it a little bit closer to home at first?
No, I mean, I was basically, it was the same thing, 18 hours. I was 18 years old when I moved down here. I was 18, basically turning 19 years old. Yeah, it was definitely a lot getting used to. I mean, at the time, I had a girlfriend that was down here as well. So, I mean, I guess I had somebody, but, just getting used to the college baseball realm and being able to, thrive with the changes. And, I was kind of still riding that emotional roller coaster at the time with that same mentality, kind of like in high school with the ups and downs, kind of basing my performance off of baseball. But then I quickly realized, a couple months in, I was like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. It truly is just a game, because if the worst happens and something, it just doesn't turn out, it's not gonna be the end of the world. There's other opportunities and everything. And so it was kind of more towards the end of 22. I remember I went to a Bible study. It was at my roommate at the time. He was a pitcher, and he was from Okeechobee. And I remember him, I knew right away, and this was before I really came to Christ, he was different, and different in a good way. He was embedded in the Holy Spirit. He didn't curse or anything, but yeah, you can just tell he had a lot of good fruits to him. And I remember, I went with him one night to this Bible study, and this pastor at his house, he was very passionate about how he taught, how he got the gospel across. And I knew that I needed a change in my life. And I remember that night, it kind of sparked something inside of me. I'm really interested in started getting into Christianity. I kind of want to start making this change. And so, yeah, I started going to the Bible studies, started going to church. And it was a slow transition too. I remember, at the time, I was still, still kind of living in the world, but, some of my buddies from back home, we used to be into weed a lot and stuff. And so I remember it was kind of like a slow transition getting out of that. And I kind of realized at the start of 23, like, I realized, like, you know what, like, there's some things I just have to put away. And I did that. And ever since then, it's just been a growing faith. And yeah, so I would say start at 23. Even baseball still wasn't really good experience with that. But honestly, like, I wasn't depressed really because I was finding my way with the Lord. I was introduced to that. And it was a good joy to have for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely when I was in the Word the other day, the passage I was reading was the unexplainable peace that God can give you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see people like that roommate that you had, when people are carrying like that peace with them, it's just there's just something about those people, and they just like attract people to the Lord.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. And you always kind of want to be that person. Like, you want to grow with the Lord and be strong enough with him where, like, you're walking around with that peace. Like, when everyone else is stressed out about something and you got all the reasons in the world to be stressed, but for some reason, like, you just are fine. And you just know deep down, like, God's got you.
Absolutely.
And that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because you were the one that gave me my tour when I came to this school.
Yeah, I remember
and,
that.
And my mom was with me, and you were a big part of the reason that I chose this school, because I wanted to go to a place that I knew had people
mm-hmm.
that were rooted in their faith. And you were talking about FCA and all that stuff, and me and my mom, especially, my mom was like, I can tell that kid is like, he is serious about his walk with Jesus. And that was so cool. You were just like such a genuine person. Just that little interaction that we had, that was like part of the reason that I actually ended up coming here.
That's awesome. I thank you for that. And yeah, no, just something with the FCA starting that here. I mean, that's just been huge for our school, obviously being a part of that. Like, I'm truly honored and I'm blessed. And we have other guys too on the team that are leaders of it as well. And just being able to have that community, even though it started off small, and, we're continuing to grow it too. But every time we get together and just talk about the Lord, and it branches out to other things too. It's just the FCA. Now we have our Bible studies every Wednesday. Like, it's just awesome to be able to have a community and, guys that you can cling on to. And because, college can take you one of two ways. Like, you can either, live a normal, like normal stereotypical college life of, being an athlete, going out, trying to get with as many girls as you can, and like, dig into things of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Either that's alcohol or anything like that, or I think it helps being in a smaller school, less distractions, and having a group like us with people that are faith-based, being able to be part of that community and grow is just a really special thing. And I'm really excited to see what the Lord has in the future, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can definitely see God work in so many different ways here. And when we started doing those Wednesday groups, it was just me and it was a few guys, and I was like, hey, like, FCA is great, but why don't we just have a space where, like, just a few guys, we can get together, we can just, like, talk once a week. And it just kind of goes back to finding your circle. Even if you're at UCF with 60,000 kids, or you're at New College with 2,000, finding those few, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, whatever it is, that are there to lift you up. And it's crazy because I just mentioned it, hey, like, what if you just want to, like, have a group, like, once a week, and they were on board. And then it was awesome just having that fellowship. It just kind of, like, it fills your spirit up almost. And it was funny how we got, when we started doing it with you, me and a few guys, after one of those Wednesdays, we went to Taco Bell afterwards, and we saw Landon at the Taco Bell drive-thru. We were inside, and we saw him through the window, and then he was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what were you guys just doing? We told him, and he was like, Bible study. Like, I want to go to that. Yeah. And then so that's how we told you and Landon, and then we started doing it at your place after that.
No, yeah, and yeah, I mean, you guys, would you guys have it in was it the Dort or the Gold?
Yeah,
Hall?
the Golden Door lounge area wasn't
Yeah.
exactly the best. We didn't have a good
Yeah,
spot
Gold's
to do
not
it.
bad. I mean,
Well,
it's a place where you can gather, like it's easy and
Yeah.
accessible for
It
everybody.
was in the laundry room because like the other one, everyone was always in like the good lounge room with
Yeah.
the TV. So
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean.
so it
Yeah,
was,
the
like,
Dort one.
the reverb and
Yeah.
it wasn't optimal.
No, yeah, that's definitely something that God has given us as blessing with the house and being able to have the opportunity to do that. And we want to utilize it to the best of our abilities, being able to host Bible studies and everything with a good scenic place or kind of like give it like a comfort aspect, a home aspect, kind of just away from like the distractions of school, the stress of that. It's good. I generally enjoy it. Throw some Jack's pizzas in the oven or
On the rack.
on the rack. You cook a pizza on the rack. Like I could you not. The last Bible study we had, okay. I put the pizzas in the oven, okay, and
on the rack.
yeah, and I put them on like straight on the rack.
Like the box says to.
Yeah, it says, but you can put it on the rack or you can put it on a pan. So I put it on the rack, cooking. It's gonna be faster to cook too. Whatever. So it's like 10 minutes into cooking, and my roommates Avery and Landon, they come rushing into the kitchen like, "Are you cooking that on a pan?" I was like, "No, it's on the rack." Like he was like, "No, you can't do that. It's gonna melt through." And I'm just like, "No, it's not. If anything, it's gonna harden.
Yeah, it gets crispy.
It gets very crispy. It's gonna turn black charcoal before anything." They're like, "No, you can't do that. Like it's just gonna melt through." And so basically, they freaked out. They took it out of the oven and they put it on a pan, and it took longer to cook. And it would have been just fine, but
No, and the pizza was chewy too.
yeah, it was still chewy. I mean, like the pan has like holes through the bottom, but like we lost time of when it was done. It was just like
20 minutes lost.
I don't know. It generally upset me a little bit, but it's funny to go look back and laugh on. But you can cook a pizza on the rack. Like don't have anybody else tell you. Like
No, and it does say rack method preferred.
rack method preferred. You hear that, Avery and Landon?
Big red circle.
Yes. Red Baron Pizza. Red Baron, you guys do it good, for sure.
All right. Going back on topic a little bit more.
Yes.
We do love our Red Baron pizza.
Yes. Sorry, I had to say that to you guys.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about just more about the adversity you faced in like the college aspect, and I found a lot of times for me it wasn't even like it's not peer pressure because if you say you don't want to drink, you don't want to drink, but like people a lot of times aren't pressuring you to do it, but just like the culture of everything. It's easy to fall into doing what everyone else is doing. So just like what has it been like for you kind of going against what culture wants you to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think at first, like early on in college, like, you kind of just try to stay away from that, and you almost get this feeling of missing out. But as you grow in your faith and you're growing your walk with God, like, and being at a place with like less distractions, it's, you kind of start to realize like, wow, like, I don't miss that at all. Like, I know it's not good for me. I have a community of people that I would rather spend time with, and, I can have a way better time doing that than going out with what the world wants, going out. Maybe getting drunk on the weekends, hooking up with girls, like, because at the end of the day, that stuff will never satisfy you. It might feel good in the moment, but it will never give you that full fulfillment. That's why Jesus is the only thing that will give you that full satisfaction and fulfillment. And you can't get that. You can't get that from any worldly desires. And when you grow in your walk with God, you kind of realize like, when you stay away from sin, like sin is it separates you from God. Like there is nothing good that comes out of sin, straight up. Like it feels good to our flesh, but there's nothing good that will come out of it.
And your flesh doesn't care about your soul because your flesh isn't going to heaven with you.
Absolutely, yes. And sometimes temptation hits. Sometimes the temptations will crawl into you, and it's about finding ways not to necessarily fight it in some instances, but flee from it. Flee from those opportunities, the temptations and opportunities that are presented to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it takes practice too. Like you're going to fall. Like nobody's perfect. You're going to fall into temptation here and there. But it's about learning from it, going and repenting from it. And repentance isn't just, Lord, please forgive me, thank you, and then you go and do it again. No. Repentance is, Lord, please forgive me, and doing what you can to turn away from that sin and to live in the glory of God in a righteous way that God has called us to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will, I will say also, kind of living in that counterculture mindset and that Jesus Christ lifestyle, it can be lonely too sometimes because, you said like fear of missing out, when everyone's going to do something and sometimes you're left by yourself trying to do the right thing. That in my experience has led to like a lot of lonely nights, just reading my Bible when everyone else is doing something that, I don't even want to do, but it's just, it can definitely be a lonely walk. And I think God has built a lot of adversity through being alone in a lot of instances for me. And just realizing that when culture goes one way and you go the other, sometimes you're going to be alone. And that's okay because at the end of the day, we are never really alone.
All you need is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only. You always have Jesus. You're never alone. You always have Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I guess going off like the topic of being alone, for people that when it comes to like relationships, I think sometimes they'll find themselves staying in a toxic relationship because they're afraid of being alone, which is not the answer. Because let me tell you, if you're really being drained in a toxic relationship and it's really putting a dent on you, like there's no reason to be afraid of being alone. Because there's going to be a time where you will be alone, and there's times where you won't be alone. But the times you're alone, it's great for your character development. Like you could really put time aside, do things that you want to do things that you need to do to grow. And it's important. And you're not, and like I said, you're not alone. Jesus is always with you. He'll never forsake you or abandon you. But yeah, and then it also comes with the community, like, the community. And when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. That's quoted from Isaiah. Isaiah is just trusting his plan and understand, like, we're humans and we have emotions. We have emotions at times. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Just keep having that same mindset throughout all.
Yeah, I love what you said about staying in a relationship even when you don't want to be in it just because you're afraid of being alone. I think that's one of the best things that you can get out of it is learning to love yourself so much. Maybe not even loving yourself, but knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And being comfortable being alone. Because if you're in a relationship, even if it's at the beginning or down the line and, you clash heads at something, if it's like a basic set of boundaries or whatever it is, not being afraid to just walk away. And when you're so comfortable with yourself and who you are, and you're like, I'm fine being alone. I'm, me and God, like, we're fine.
Yeah.
That's a skill that I feel like so many people today just don't have. They just always want to be with someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't really know how to build off of that. I mean, you kind of nailed it on the head with anything. Like, it gives you the opportunity to do. If there's any things that you want to do in your life, like, go ahead and do it. Like, it's a time to really experiment with yourself, find out what you really like. That's kind of how, like, really I started. Kind of my content creation career was like, really like, just trying something new, doing something different that I kind of had a slight desire to. And I knew, like, there's kind of some fear going in, like, like, what if other people, they think about me? But, the more you do it and the more success you have with it, you become more accustomed to it. And it's something that I truly love to do it, man. I truly love to do it. And, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but you know what? Like, I love doing it, and I want to see where I can go with it, for sure.
Merc Dog on all social media, by the way.
Merc Dog on all social medias, on Merc Dog with 2 Ks on my Instagram and YouTube. Merc Dog with 1 K, just Merc Dog on my TikTok. So
and we already know that creator fund is hitting hard right now with a few recent viral videos.
So yeah, here's the thing:
the heartbroken teen.
The heartbroken teen, those do really good. And I've been blessed to be able to have the opportunities to monetize off TikTok recently. But the only problem is right now TikTok is facing a ban right now as we speak. It's supposed to necessarily go into effect on January the 19th, this Sunday. And I'm technically not supposed to get paid till next in February, along with all the other creators who have created content this month of January. Now, it's something that's been like, honestly, like I've been having a lot of stress with it. Because obviously being a creator, like, and a lot of other creators, this isn't just me, this is a lot of other creators. TikTok is a huge platform. It has become the biggest platform in the United States and probably the world. Over 170 million Americans use TikTok. Over 7 million businesses use TikTok as well. And say perhaps if this ban goes through, like, it's really going to affect a lot of people. Like, obviously a lot of good and smart creators, like, they have other platforms as well, but TikTok is like the central, like, is like a very key piece where it's like it kind of helps tie it all in together. And so yeah, obviously, and obviously money's not everything, but obviously, I put the time and an effort to post content out, and I want to be able to have something to be able to support myself, and I want to do it through that way. And yeah, it's been a lot of stress and worry for sure, but I've like heavily prayed on it, like, God, like, pull us all through this. Like, it's all in your hands. You're the creator. You control everything. And I just been really, honestly, it's kind of lit fire in my faith a little bit, like staying in faith. And the past couple of days this week have been pretty stressful. I kept really praying heavily to God throughout this week, and I'm not getting too hopeful or anything like that. But it does seem as like more and more good news is coming out saying that the platform is probably going to be saved. Basically, with Trump obviously wanting to extend an executive order to keep it going. The Biden administration right now is looking for ways to not have the app go dark. Shou Chu, the TikTok CEO, he will be at the inauguration on January 20th. So it's just, really good news to hear. It probably kind of puts me at peace a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to keep praying about it and, keep strong in my faith. And, everything goes good, no ban and everything, something that I have learned is, obviously, there's a big relief at that point, but I still need to have that same fire and that same faith, because I can't just, I think it's easy to, now everything's going, I can just, chill back, relax, and, kind of, get complacent with it. No, it honestly, like, it's a gift. It'd be a gift. And for him answering my prayer. And it's giving him all the glory, glorifying him in ways that I haven't before. So yeah, I just hope, and I pray that, everything goes smoothly with it. And I'm confident that it will. So yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully too, you've had a few videos pop off on Instagram too.
Instagram too, yeah, it's been growing on there too as well.
Because it used to be all your viral videos were all on TikTok, but then recently with your viral Heartbroken Teen series,
yeah, they've been
you've had multiple videos with over 1 million views.
Yeah, so they're starting to do well on platforms like Instagram, YouTube. I've always been like consistently well with that too. But yeah, so it's exciting to see the other platforms grow as well, and definitely keep at it. Definitely keep at it with the content, and just keep doing my thing. But I will say this: I think what this like potential ban has done for a lot of like creators is honestly to experiment with other big platforms. Like for example, YouTube. Like I think this is going to open up a lot of eyes to other like creators. Like okay, like TikTok's good and all, but I want to, start maybe putting content on YouTube and be able to, kind of see what their algorithm has. Because YouTube's a different platform. Like that's for like long form videos and like, like TikTok, Instagram, that's like short form content. Like you get quick information from. But YouTube is for like, and you sit down, it's kind of like watching a movie with a more like a longer attention span type deal. That's what's special about YouTube. That's what I'm actually in the works of making my first YouTube video. And, putting on there. So,
Well, I feel like with the TikTok wave the past few years, people's attention spans have kind of gotten broken. 'Cause I find myself watching less and less YouTube and just wanting to go for a quick scroll, or because it's just it's easier, and you got to sit down, you got to find the YouTube video to watch, and it sounds like crazy, but like that's kind of the state of the world now.
Yeah, and I guess one of the concerns of that people have is, TikTok's like rotting people's brains, it's shortening their attention, and having all these negative effects. Well, my response to it is, okay, well, if that's the case and that it's affecting you in that way, get off the app. Straight up, get off the app, and because it's just unfair for the people that use it in a really good way and are able to maybe expand their business or make some money to be able to support their families. And just some reasons that. And I think we shouldn't take the consequences because of people that can't be able to have that self-control, and so. Yeah.
I recently deleted TikTok because of that, just trying to stay off the strolls. And I know Landon, he
just created a TikTok account like 2 days ago. Yeah, because
No.
he's started doing fishing content. He's gonna start posting on there. And he's obviously, there's some worry with him, like, I don't know if I should, because I know he's had a big problem with like scrolling on his phone.
Yeah, he said that he had his dad block Instagram from their home Wi-Fi, so that way he couldn't go and scroll on IG Reels.
Yeah,
but that's a different level of addiction. That's like
and I mean he's and that's the thing, like, is a little bit fearful. I mean, he wants to start putting some fishing content out there. He just created it, and it's about that self-control. Like, and we kind of talked about in our FCA leader group today, like. You can set a time limit on your phone about, you're saying like you spent this amount of time on your phone if you want to get off. Thing is, like a lot of people just click a button that says ignore, but
that's what
when that pops up, like that's where an opportunity of self-control comes in. Like, okay, I spent this amount of time. Like, am I gonna keep giving in to this desire, or am I gonna be like, okay, no, I gotta be disciplined. I have to have the self-control of, okay, let me just put it down and I'll be good. And and I know he's told me like he struggled with scrolling on social media and stuff too, and that's why it's an opportunity for me as a roommate to see like maybe if I do see him scrolling, I don't know if to capture ideas or whatever. Tell him like, hey, like just be careful with that. Don't be caught. And like there's for example today where he was like kind of over the sink just watching some videos. Just scrolling, just playing around. I was like, hey, like, just make sure, like, don't. I know you've had a problem with it. Like, don't get too distracted with it, because next moment and 20 minutes can go by and you'll have no idea.
2 days later, he's just still standing over the sink.
No. But I want to keep him accountable for, especially because I think it's a good thing. It's a good opportunity for him. And I say like you can use social media in the right way. Like, opportunities are endless, man. So I think it's good to see, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. But what's your kind of feelings about your first ever collegiate season starting soon?
It's exciting, man. Had our first scrimmage of the spring today.
Yeah, that's right.
It was exciting. Only had one at bat. Definitely exciting. Just after that first at bat, the first pitch, I just kind of like my mind kind of shifted into gear. I was like, all right, it's go time.
Yeah, it is.
And had two pitches go past me, and then had a low and inside ball 0-2, and yanked it foul. Went about 40 feet over the fence.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! But it was about 15 feet foul. Kind of always frustrating when that happens. And
Absolutely.
I rolled over to the shortstop.
I've had too many of those.
Rolled over to the shortstop.
Yeah, it was a miserable day outside too.
Yeah, it was
even
like
for
50 degrees, but it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds.
No, it might have been colder than that. I didn't feel like 50 degrees. I can't even say that from
freezing.
being up north. Like, let me tell you, man, it's always never the exact temperature itself. It's always the wind chill and the breeze.
Yeah.
Like,
I know Logan O'Donnell, I guess he used to play with that coach.
I played with him last year, yeah.
He's from up north, I guess, and he said this is what like 20 degrees feels like up north because of the wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different. Because back up by home, it's more of like a biting cold.
Yeah.
Like it's a biting cold, it's like a shock, and you can kind of get a little accustomed to it, unless it's like extreme, like you have like -30 with like a ton of wind chill.
Yeah,
The wind chill always gets you.
Yeah,
But if
because
it's
when it's windy, it's constantly hitting you.
but it's different. Like if it's like 25 degrees outside, there's not really any wind chill. Like it's not as cold as you think.
Yeah.
Like it's actually like obviously you have to bundle up a little bit, but it's fine. Like honestly,
I wouldn't know. I've never been in that cold of weather. I've never even seen snow before. I'm a true Florida boy.
Yeah, and down here it's more of like a calm breeze, but it's like it just seeps in. Like it's just like annoying and nagging. It's from what I know. It's from my experience. But yeah.
No, but going back to my first season, I'm definitely excited. I'm a little bit nervous. You always got a little bit of the butterflies. But hopefully those kind of get shaken out after the first game next Friday.
Yeah.
And
wow. Yeah, you guys start shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys start before us. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know who all is going to be playing in that game, but I guess the people who were playing in that scrimmage will be.
Is it IMG the first game?
I think it's away.
Okay.
So we're at South Florida State.
Gotcha.
But yeah, definitely all the games, balancing between classes and everything, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm excited for it. And how was your first season in college back in the day? Because, we got Unk over here.
Back in the day, that's crazy, bro. It was only 2 years ago. But, yeah, it used at where I went to JUCO at in Melbourne, it was, I didn't really get many opportunities to really show myself. And I tell you, if I didn't have Jesus, I don't even know where I would have, my mind would have went off to, man. Like it was a little bit frustrating. Yeah, I remember after that season, like it was just when I was there, like there was a lot of negativity with the coaches, and also too, I mean, our player leadership it's not really good. That played a role in it. It just wasn't a good culture, and I remember after that season, even though I didn't get much opportunities, I was on scholarship there, and they said that they weren't going to be offering me. I can go back, but I wasn't going to get any scholarship with that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm out. Like, it's definitely not worth it. And then I saw that they were starting something here, and a guy named Mariano Jimenez, he was the athletic director and head baseball coach there, and my mom was like, hey, you should reach out to him. She saw a Twitter post about it. Reach out to this guy. And so I did, and like 5 minutes later, I had a call with him, and so I was talking about it and everything. Seemed like an amazing dude. And about 3 weeks later, I made a decision. I committed here, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. For sure, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like you might have been born up north, but your spirit was meant for Florida.
I think so. Yeah, and I came here in the fall, and kind of settling into the groove with everything. Still facing some challenges, really. And then it was until I would say the start of 2024. I was a brand new person when I came back on campus, and that's kind of where I, things started to really click and go good for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine you being not the Matthew Merck I know now, and I think that just goes back to the overwhelming change that Jesus can bring in our lives, and how even just over such a short period of time, once you come to know Jesus, all the stuff that you used to do is just you're just a completely new person.
Yeah, definitely that. I remember that winter break of 23. The winter break before that, it sucked because I remember I was back home, going through arguments. My dog died during break, and but no, coming back for the winter break of 23, it was good. It was really good. It was it was a new chapter in my life. I just got out of a 2.5 year relationship.
Wow.
With just a lot of bickering back and forth,
Yeah.
and I got out of it. When I got out of it, it was relieving. It was really relieving because it was the first time in a while I was single again, but I'm a different person than what I was back then. And that was when I came back on campus in start of 24, that was my first time I was alone. I came down here and I had a girlfriend at the time, just someone from back home, but I remember going back, this was my first time being alone by myself with no one from back home. And it was a great opportunity for me, man. That's where I really took off, and I feel I started to change. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. 24 was a really good year for me. God provided me with so many blessings and opportunities unimaginable. got baptized that year, and so yeah, hopefully they continue that in 25. And I didn't obviously the only way to continue off that is with Christ, man. Like He's the way, the truth, and the life, and I wouldn't be where I am without Him.
And was that your first time getting baptized?
I got baptized in the Catholic Church when I was like
Okay.
6 months old.
So it's kind of like your first baptism, yourself.
I
coming
chose to
Jesus,
do it, yeah. Like I don't even remember it, to be honest with you. I was 6 months old. Got baptized in the Catholic Church. But yeah, and then I started getting into Christ, and I made that decision. Like, I want to get baptized, but I want it to be significant. Because I can go to a church and get baptized that way, but I wanted to wait for a good opportunity. And when we were in our FCA leaders group, only one of us leaders had gotten baptized. So it was me, Landon, JT, PD, and Gio and Delaney. We weren't baptized yet, and I remember it was May 9th, 2024. We all got baptized in the on the Bayfront waters. It was awesome, man. It was a really good night. Yeah, just it's great, man.
No,
have you been baptized?
Yeah, I was baptized. I was probably 9 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was born into a Presbyterian church, so I think I don't remember I don't think they did baby baptisms, but I know my parents didn't believe in that. So I remember when I was like in 4th and 5th grade, I was like a little like on fire for the Lord kid. Like I wanted to be like a pastor, and I didn't know what it all meant. Yeah. But I remember me and my sister were baptized together on the beach back home in Naples, and it was good. I made that decision myself, and even at that young age, Jesus still lives in all of us, no matter how young we are. And you can feel the Holy Spirit, and God's presence, even as a kid, almost more, because you're so innocent, and you got God's innocence in you. But no, it was great.
It's good, man. It's good. Yeah. Baptized at a young age. So you've been on your walk for a while then. Basically.
Yeah, I've never had like a big change. Like I was never like I was doing like these horrible things or whatever, but I will say mine was a little bit more like behind the scenes. In high school, I dealt a lot with anxiety and stuff like that. It was almost, anxiety and stuff, it can be crippling. Yeah, for sure. And when you look at that from like a Christian standpoint, anxiety is almost like you're not relying on the Lord enough, and you're not like, you haven't acknowledged deep down that He has control of your life. So I was kind of pushed to because my anxiety stemmed a lot from baseball and sports. So different injuries and stuff as a junior and senior forced me to be like, all right, baseball isn't where I'm going to get my happiness and peace from. So I used to like throw up before every game, and like it was bad. And then 11th grade, it was bad. And then going into 12th grade, I had my first girlfriend, and then going into the spring season, she broke up with me right before the season. A month before that, like right as the fall ended, I hurt my knee. I tore my PCL on my knee, and life was just kind of beating me up. Yeah. And at that point, I started getting my word more, and going into that season, finally, I was understanding God's peace more. Like when in the midst of like everything going on, being down like that forced me to cling to Jesus more, because that's the only way I could function. Right. And sometimes I think God will do that on purpose. He won't do those things to you, but He'll let them happen to you. Right. Because He knows that if life was going good and everything was perfect, you wouldn't need Him. Right, yeah. And regardless of what you think you need Him or not, you do need Him. So
you do need Him.
He works in ways to help you realize that. And when you come out the other end, you'll always come out better as long as you have God and Jesus on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank him in the good times, the bad times. He's always with you, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's always with you. And honestly, I think we should be good.
Yeah.
We said a lot of good stuff,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess till next time, y'all.